Hello Australia, Mitch is away, I'm in charge and the circus has come to town. And on tonight's program, have we gone PC mad in our government agencies? Is marriage just a fad that we get over once we've tied the knot? And fatherhood, what happens when you fail as a father? All that and so much more coming up with our star-studded panel.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
Australia, welcome to Sweet and Sour. And tonight I'm joined by some incredible foxy ladies and let's meet them right now. Michaela, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Crazy, sexy, cool.
That's right.
How's it all going?
It's going really well. Company's self-named, of course. So, but yeah, things are great in the modelling and events world. So
wonderful,
yeah.
Fantastic. And Jewel, now
Yes.
you've got a product.
We certainly
Yes.
do, with the Devil's Tears.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's quite a spice.
It's a lovely
Yes,
spice.
wonderful.
Very
Fantastic.
spicy.
Yes.
Like me.
Just go on Facebook and they can get more information.
They certainly
Jewel.
can.
Wonderful. We're looking forward to hearing more from you throughout the show.
Yes, indeed.
Now, Miss Shelley, how's it going?
It's going really well.
Now-
How's yours going?
Mine's going fantastic now that you're sitting next to me.
That's great.
And you're looking spectacular tonight.
Thank you.
Who's your makeup
I've
artist?
got this beautiful contouring makeup on, which is done by a lady who's just sitting behind that camera there, Savan Rose. Hi.
Wonderful.
And
Well,
she's done the contouring.
well, we look forward to hearing more from you, Miss Shelley, as the
on
program goes along.
Okay, Facebook, Savan Rose.
Indeed, Savan Rose Facebook, and talking about our final foxy lady for tonight. Tanya, how are you going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All right. Now you're in psychology.
Yes, I am.
Oh, wonderful. We're looking forward to your advice because we have some very interesting letters tonight. And speaking about interesting letters, let's get straight to our first one. Shaken all over. Dear Sweet and Sour, what are we coming to? This younger generation is just learning how to become more and more people unfriendly and looking for ways to be just that. I was brought up in a well-mannered household and was taught to shake hands with people on meeting and departing. I was in a government department yesterday and I was being attended to by a young lady who didn't seem too much to enjoying her role dealing with the public, as she didn't smile the entire time she served on the counter with me or any previous person. She was efficient and thorough, I must admit, but when I went to thank her and put forward my hand to shake hers in thanks, she looked at my hand, then back at me and asked me, a very offended manner, why do you wish to insult me? I'll have to call my superior.
She said assault.
Indeed, I was so appalled and shocked. I said to the superior that they had all my details if they wanted to press charges. They knew where to find me. What did I do wrong here? From when did shaking hands constitute something so politically incorrect? What is in the mind of young people today? What have they learnt? Please let me know if I'm out of step. I'm still in shock. Leicester, Camberwell, Victoria. Jewel, what do you think?
I must be missing something here. So he puts out his hand to thank her, and she goes back and says, "You're insulting me." So there's something missing here. I think this lady is a bit nutty. I don't think it's a generational problem, nor do I think it's a politically incorrect issue. I think the problem's with her. It's a one of.
But she's got a job serving at the front counter, though, in a government agency.
It's a worry.
Incredible.
It's a worry. It's a worry. But I think it's a one of. I think she's a bit paranoid. And I think if he goes back into that government department again, avoid her. There's something wrong here. Something amiss. Yeah, absolutely.
Michaela, what do you think?
well, I actually think something different. I think, obviously, her reaction was well and truly extreme from what he's saying. So I'd love to hear her side of the story. Maybe he was intimidating to her, maybe offensive, aggressive, a little sexual innuendo, perhaps. Because that sort of reaction is very strong for someone just saying, shake my hand. I would like to say, he did say, what have they learned? Like, what have the young people learnt? Well, I know what I teach my children, and that is that they don't have to do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. And they don't have to put up with behaviour that makes them feel that way just to be polite. So that's my call.
Yes.
I think something's gone on. I think he needs to look at his own actions and conversation and see what really might have been the case.
Might have taken place.
Two sides to the story.
Yes. Now, Tania, do you think there's something psychologically wrong here? You know, it doesn't all fit together.
No, there's quite a few things that don't make sense in that scenario. Firstly, he said that she works for the government. Then he said she was efficient and thorough. They don't usually go together to start with. But clearly there's a misunderstanding. I mean, what doesn't make sense to me is that he said she called the supervisor. Now, the supervisor's come out and he hasn't sorted it. That doesn't make sense to me because clearly there's a misunderstanding. He's gone to shake her hand and she's obviously thought he's going to strike her because she actually called it an assault. So what I'm thinking is that very often when we undertake a gesture or a behaviour and it's a positive behaviour and we have all good intentions and it's received in a negative way, we actually get very offended and we get very hurt and we get disgruntled, which is what he has become. He's even walked off and said, "You've got my details." So I think he needed to explain himself. It was simply, look, I just wanted to shake your hand, because sometimes taking offence is as bad as giving offence. And I think that, you know, everything in life, your reaction is what will determine that occurrence is positive or negative. And his reaction has made it a negative occurrence.
Yes, indeed. So, Miss Shelley, what do you think? Just it's not adding up, is it? Really, this letter?
No, it's all a little bit odd. I mean, I'm a person who likes to give people a hug now and again, but you can't do that nowadays because it could be sexual assault. So, you know, the world is changing. I also think Miss Shelley's grooming and deportment course and etiquette course wouldn't go astray from time to time, or one of Michaela's courses as well. So you can learn about modern day etiquette and how to express yourself and communicate. And I'm also with the rest of the panel. I'm wondering about how his handshake took place, because there's a way that you outstretch as well to shake somebody's hand.
Well, you know, with that, Miss Shelley, we actually went out there and we asked the people, the good people, we put it to your say, is there a growing gulf in values between young people under 25 and the over 40s? 81% of people said yes, and only 19% of people said no. So clearly, people are thinking there's a gulf between the generations.
Well, there is and there isn't, but it's like, you know, it's what you teach your children and maybe your children's friends as well, if they don't learn it in their homes. Like my son is very, very well managed, and I invest a lot of time, or have invested time into him to teach him those fundamentals. So I think a lot of it does come from home, and if you can't learn it at home, then...
Indeed.
I still believe that people don't like the idea that younger people are standing up for themselves, and they never did, and they think you should just be polite and suck it up, but our kids aren't.
Thank you for that. And talk about standing up. We've got to stand up to the generous people who pay for us to be on air. And we'll be back right after these generous words from our sponsors. Back very shortly.
For sweet and sour, right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Sweet and Sour. And if you want to get in contact with us, there's so many ways you can on social media, including going online to sweetandsour.net.au, Facebook Sweet and Sour, or you can go Instagram, Snapchat, or Twitter at Sweet and Sour TV. And if we read your letter out, we're going to send you to Palace Cinemas, thanks to Natalie at NRC Communications. Now, moving right along to letter number 2. I don't. Hello, panellists. I struggle with the notion of marriage. I don't know what it is in my deep, dark past that makes me shudder at the prospect, but I do. Every relationship I've been in has ended, and I'm quite happy about that. It's so easy to catch the euphoria of a wedding, but once the novelty wears off, there ain't too many starry-eyed people. It seems that every couple I know who have married have been so excited to get together, grow their relationship, and be really excited about planning a wedding and going through their nuptials. The problem is no one seems to be thrilled once they get there. No one. How many people do each of you know who bounce out of bed every morning filled with excitement because they are married? Not one, I bet. So why is it that it seems everyone wants to do it if they haven't, and then wants to be out of it once they've done it? And then there are those who do it over and over and over. I figure they're the people that are incapable of learning and keep making the same mistake. But the big question is, why is it that no one is thrilled once they get married? Kevin, Port Adelaide, South Australia, Miss Shelley. Marriage. Is it done? Is it over?
I've never been married. No, I'm the runaway bride. You know what? I couldn't be happier. No, well, I have noticed this strange notion that tends to happen. I do sort of agree. There are a lot of people that get really excited about the notion and the build-up, but it's like they want to just go and get the perfect love and not create the perfect love and keep the perfect love.
They're in love with a fairy tale.
Well, they might be in love with the dress or the whatever, toasters perhaps, those people that do it over and over again.
Yes, the wedding gifts, indeed.
But then I look at my grandparents' wedding, and they had one wedding and no funeral, and they were still the most romantic couple even up until when they passed away. So I believe that it can work, and I'm still waiting. And
So, Tania, what do you think?
Well, I don't know anyone who bounces out of bed every morning filled to be married, but I don't know anyone who bounces out of bed filled to be single either.
I do.
So it's true, most people do look at a partner to make them happy, and that's clearly not going to happen, because happiness is something that you've got to find within yourself. It's finding happiness is more of an inside job, it's an internal affair, it's something you've got to find, and your partner is someone with whom you share it. Marriage is a perfect place though, because in order to be happy, you have to move from your head set to your heart set. So a marriage will work if you can dissolve ego, and that's what finding happiness is all about, dissolving the ego. And a marriage is a perfect place to do that because it teaches you to let go. Now, you could be, if you are a person and you operate from ego or the egoic mind, you could be married to the Buddha, and eventually he's going to get on your nerves. You're going to be saying, look at him, just sitting there. So I think marriage is great if you go into it with the right attitude, and obviously he's very egoic because none of his relationships are working.
Yes.
I'm sure you're not married to the Buddha.
No,
but you are married. You are married.
Buddha.
So
I am very recently married, actually.
You jump out of bed with enjoyment, with thrill, with excitement.
Well, look, I am very excited and very happy to be married. I recently got married after 14 years of relationship, 10 years of engagement, 4 kids. So yeah, I test rode him for a while, and he was the goods.
Well, after 4 years, you'd think so. 4 kids, sorry, after 4 kids.
14
10
years.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, no, look, I do jump out of bed occasionally excited, but it's got nothing to do with being married or not, because at the end of the day, I hate waking up. So I never jump out of bed that excited.
Now, Jewel, you're another married lady?
I am still a newlywed.
Newlywed?
Yeah,
oh, how exciting.
Kevin, I married my Kevin only 6 months ago. He's right over there.
Indeed. Now,
Hi, darling.
Now, you didn't name the devil tears after Kevin, I hope.
No,
fantastic.
No. I actually think Kevin's got this all wrong. I don't know what's in his deep, dark past, but I love being married. I am still starry-eyed in love with Kevin, and it will always be. And I think he just needs to stop listening to his friends and maybe do it himself and form his own opinion.
Indeed. Well, we went out there and we asked you your say. In the wake of marriage equality vote, is the shine now coming from couples getting married? Now, 26% of you said yes, and 74% said no. That was your say. Well, the panel still says go out, find happiness, get married. Walt Disney was created for a reason. It's to sell the message of love and happiness, and we'll be sending a lot of love and happiness to our generous sponsors, and we'll be back right after these words from them. Thank you very much, and see you shortly.
Well, if it doesn't work, it's great.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on me, baby.
Hello, welcome back to Sweet and Sour, straight into our final letter. Hello, panellists. I'm feeling like a real failure as a dad. I understand that kids have their individual character and parents' job is to support them until they can fend for themselves. What do I do if I can't agree with their values? My eldest daughter is just feral with smelly, hairy armpits and just bushy legs. Consequently, she attracts boys just as gross. They stink, they look filthy, and they're never able to get a job because no one would be stupid enough to employ them. But she attracts them like flies to rotten meat. She's 18 and a uni student and consistently attracts this sort of garbage. The only reason she dispensed with the last boyfriend is because he kept wearing the same pair of soiled underpants day after day, which was even way off her radar. And I just don't know how to get her to understand the importance of shaving her armpits and legs in a civil society. My youngest daughter, who is only 15, has sex with anything that looks at her. I don't know how to have her value herself more and be more selective. But at 15, surely she is too young to be sleeping around. I don't even know if this was happening until she had a frank conversation with her sister across the dinner table. Her mum, my ex-wife, ran off with another woman 10 years ago. Please give us a hand. Mac Cannington, WA. I'll say it first. You're an asshole, Mac. No wonder your wife left you. Now, Michaela,
Yes.
what do you think?
Well, I concur. He is an arsehole. But let's glide over the 18-year-old. She's an adult. She can move on. She'll probably grow out of this little phase. And let's face it, we all have to kiss a few frogs, right, before we get to our Prince Charming, I believe, or Princess. As for your 15-year-old, well, sounds like the ship has definitely sailed there. She's sexually active and undoubtedly enjoying it. So my advice to you, make sure she's educated about safe sex and smart sex. I wonder if your letter would read the same about your 15-year-old son. That would interest me greatly. And then I don't think your wife running off with a man or woman is relevant, what sex she was. But I think maybe you're very bitter that she left you for another woman, and I feel like the girls might feel like they're tarred with the same brush.
Indeed. Now, rapid-fire responses, Jewel. We've got Nevada ready to perform for us.
Well, I actually think that this is a very, very sad, dysfunctional family. And it must have been difficult for this father to write this letter. I mean, my gosh, it's shocking. And I was really taken aback at how remarkably candid he is.
He was an asshole.
Well, maybe. But anyway, with his daughter, the 18-year-old, I think you're right. She's an adult and she can do what she pleases. He, like it or not, she can make her own decisions. The 15-year-old, I think she's desperately crying out for help. I really do. And I think he needs to get her some professional help, bring the mother back in or whatever needs to be done, but something needs to be done.
Indeed. Well, we went to your side. We asked you out there, is hair on a women's legs, armpits and elsewhere coming back into vogue? 28% said yes. 72% of you said no. Sorry, Miss Shelley. What do you think?
I think so many different thoughts through my head.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, in France, you know, bushy armpits are all the rage.
Exactly.
But it always has been.
And it should be a woman's prerogative, I think.
Yes, and the bush in other areas as well. So,
yes, indeed.
Now, Carrie Bush.
Now we're going to go rapid fire. Tanya, what do you think?
Okay.
Sum it up for us.
Well, every parent does the best they know how, and as you said, every child is uniquely different, and sometimes the combination of our best child rearing practices and a child's individuality doesn't always lead to the desired result. The 18-year-old children will go through a stage, a grubby stage. It sometimes signifies a little bit of defiance, but that's normally about the age of 13. I would be more worried about the promiscuous behaviour of the 15-year-old because it seems to me that she's screaming out for some validation, and there's also probably some hidden anger issues there. I actually
Talking
think
about
we
hidden
would
anger
all-
issues, I've got to cut you off there. The producers are telling me Nirvana is ready to go. Thank you, you lovely ladies, for coming on the show. You've been an absolute delight tonight. Now, let's give an applause to Nirvana as she sings Valerie. Congratulations.